my presentation will be shorter than you expect because I'm a bit sick. Now, I will tell you how to teach online rather than how to study online. My focus is on IT education and computer science, programming, mathematics, and everything that is close to our minds. I'm head of the STEPIC project. It's an online platform for educational IT education courses. We have different courses of that kind. In the recent year, we launched more than 20 technical courses in Russian. They are about popular programming languages and technologies, and we continue doing that. We cooperate with a large number of partners, universities, large enterprises, and professors who just come to us. These are some of our organizations. Yandex Academy, they published a couple of our courses. We're in St. Petersburg. We're closely related to the Academic University and Computer Science Center, who use our courses on a large scale. We cooperate with mail.ru, who publish our programs online in Moscow, with the informatics institutions, Bioinformatics Institute. Besides, apart from technical courses, we have humanitarian courses for the European University in St. Petersburg. They do a lot of humanitarian courses, humane courses, folk art, politics, and so on. Various people from different kind of universities come to us and publish their courses in our system. These are the logos of our courses, 20 courses which are quite active today. You can see a lot of different things, pluses and double pluses, Java, databases, R, Hadoop, Matan, Haskell, graphs, computer graphics, a lot of things. And in the recent year, we developed quite a lot of courses and helped other people to develop their courses as well. In the recent couple of months, we launched 100% online program from the Academic University about computer science. It consists of 12 online courses. It's a professional retraining program. It's enough for a bachelor's degree, but legally it is yet to be confirmed. We are ready to do that. We have about 400 students. The content is free and open. The main principle is openness, and in parallel we have several thousand, 4,000 to 5,000 of other free students who do not need any diplomas, but those 400 would like to get an official certificate. And then in June next year I will tell you the result. So until now everything is going on as planned. This is what we are doing, just to provide you with a context. A few words about other projects apart from STEPIC. In general, all of you know such projects as Coursera and EDX, and the previous speaker told us about EDX, the open education platform, EDX, based. Those who repeat the EDX program in the Russian environment. All those platforms are focused on technology. In general, online education is focused on technology first and foremost, because all these platforms are developed by programmers. It's easier for them to do something about programming and mathematics and technology. It's easier for them to develop a platform for programming. And that is true. So almost all online projects start from technology and programming. The second reason is that the basic programming and basic data analytics and mathematics, it's easier to check. Russian language and literature, well, it's more difficult. It's hard to check 1,000 papers. Peer review is rather time consuming. You don't have to write an essay, you have to check 5 other essays written by your peers. It takes quite a lot of time. So you cannot launch too many peer reviews. The people will just lack the time. But for programming, oh yes, no problem. A lot of tasks can be done automatically, and it's quite convenient, it's quite easy. Automatic evaluation can be done. Coursera recently launched programs sponsored by Google, Instagram, and some others. They sponsor the online courses for the disciplines that are interested to Google, for instance, and they give the money to some universities, Coursera universities, to develop a course for the subject that is interesting to Google. Google likes that. Google can hire the people. Universities like that as well. So it's a win-win situation. EDX does the same with Microsoft. They had a big data course, which is not very good from the quality point of view, but this is just the first step. These are mass courses where a professor develops a content and then many users get access to it. Then there are coding platforms, programming platforms focused on coding, on specific programming languages rather than fundamental general knowledge. The most popular are Code School, Treehouse, Code Academy. They do not offer fundamental mathematics, and it's very difficult it's very difficult to become a good programmer without such a fundamental basis. So in most cases, well-trained programmers go there to learn something else. I know JavaScript, I want to learn Python, for instance. I go there. I know C++, I don't know something else. And I can go there and learn what I miss right now. So this is an addition to fundamental education. Still, those platforms and other platforms need some kind of personal motivation. If a person doesn't know why he goes there, he usually fails. Just like university, if you want to go to the university just to go somewhere, you wouldn't get much from your learning. A person must have a goal, an interest, and university should be just a tool to get that goal. He wants to develop a certain system or an application. He cannot do that. He learns to get such kind of skills and knowledge in order to do the job. Then, in that case, he reaches the goal and the knowledge becomes practical and fundamental and firm. One of the successful projects, 18 months ago, Jennifer Dewalt announced that every day she will develop one website, and for 180 days she developed a website, one site a day. Different sites, different technologies, cats, hello world, and in the end hello world. But in the middle, she used all the range of technologies, and she learned new technologies as a result. She got a lot of skills, and she became a software engineer. although she didn't have any background before. Now she works at a startup, she went to a large company. So it's an example of how a person, when he or she learns something with a goal, and learning is a tool to reach the goal, then it works. If he goes to an online course just for the sake of time consuming, it doesn't work. One more project, very well known, is Code Work. It's focused on school education. The main mission is to insert coding into curriculum, computer science in the curriculum in the US and elsewhere. And Code Work publishes open lessons, open content, so that teachers could use that content in the classes at schools. The program is supported by Google, Facebook, and other technological vendors. Even President Obama wrote a couple of code strings. That was a good precedent. Perhaps one day our president will do something like that. One more large project. 2 years ago, I saw the announcement of Master Online program, Online Master of Science in Computer Science program. It's Udacity, a startup, looking like Coursera, but then they moved to the enterprise sector. Georgia College of Computing and AT&T. That was a 100 online master course. You can go there, register. It costs 5 times less than an offline program. You don't have to live in a campus. You don't have to spend your money on living there. It's much more available and accessible and affordable to many people, especially in the developing world, in Africa. A student in Africa can go there. He cannot go to the US to study and live there for 2 years, pay a lot of money, but he can go and learn online. There was a pilot program for AT&T. Now it's open to everyone. It takes registrations and applications from everywhere. This is the list of courses, quite serious, comparable to good courses of any university, including a mathematical department. I don't have all of those courses. As in any master course, you can choose any of those courses and specialize, but there are some fundamental courses which are mandatory. For example, operating systems, networks, they are mandatory. And, well, this is an interesting case. It's an online program, and people use it. People really... there are no graduates because they started last year, but the current students sometimes may come to the campus and learn offline if they like, but the quality of online education doesn't differ much from offline education. Our experience, back to our experience, Stepik. On the basis of our experience, a few words about what is important for online courses, for them to be efficient, not just be a time-consuming game or activity. First of all, teacher, professor, he is very important.
And so everywhere, teacher is the main figure, and because much depends on the teacher. Almost anything depends on the teacher. And a good teacher, a charismatic teacher, with enthusiasm, so certainly he will do better courses than anyone else. He will read his or her course much better. And because online course is a big challenge, and one teacher cannot handle. So there's this division of labor. So when the teacher videotapes it, and the assistants they help with assignments, and so much depends on the assistants. And mhm. and when I went to college, so actually sometimes I learned much more at seminars rather than lectures. Yes, and during lectures sometimes I slept in the back seats, in the back row. It's Then the second next point is complex tasks. So seminars, workshops, practical assignments, very important for online courses, because as to watch a video you forget everything. So video is nice to watch for entertainment, so seeing the big picture, and for general concepts, but when it comes to specific tasks, and it's certainly when you solve problems, when you solve so assignments. This is very important, because a person who having listened to all the lectures of the best colleges, but who has never written a single line of code, so he is a worthless, and absolutely it's a waste. He's a waste. And so programming is important. So that's why you need just to get this hands-on experience, because you have to do it, not to listen how it's done. So swimming is, you have to learn to swim by swimming, and very much complex tasks, very important. So I'll give you some examples with Stepic. And so for example, it's just a database course where the students have to in SQL, so they need just to do some coding, right? And then it's checked against the base, and so then whether the assignment was done correctly or not. And so this is the terminal to the virtual machine that every student is given. So then we have other programming tasks, and so this is the standard approach when there's an assignment, and so a person is supposed to do this assignment properly. So then there is another course on web security, and so they have to break a certain code, and so to do something like that, and so they and mm, and these tasks. So they learn certain craft. So then you can always check. So you can always scale it up to 1,000 students, and so if there is 1,000 students, so all these tasks are automatically checked whether the assignments have been done correctly or incorrectly. So then they are just kind of grouped, pooled, and then checked against the template, all electronically, and they know whether it's right or not. And so then so checking the so some assignments are checked, some assignments are not checked, and that's a big challenge. It's an online education in IT, and it's like so in humanities as well. They can do that. It's quite challenging for the students, and they need just to identify the specific assignments that they need to do. Everything that's not checked automatically, it's difficult to check at all. And so then we do the peer review as well. So if the groups are small, let's say it's an online supplement to the course that where the students has physically to go. So and then when the testing is done, and then the teacher needs to review this code manually and say what's wrong, and then grade the student. But what's scaled up automatically is done automatically, and then so some things cannot be checked. So if so whether so some things are not checked, and then the teacher has to do it by manually to check grade every paper. Yeah, that's true. And so peer review, and so we're discussing it already. So the students they check each other, so they grade each other's assignments, and that's how to do it, how to randomize it. So then should we take the papers of the students whose grades are pretty much the same? Yeah, because as a good student cannot see the difference, the strong student from a weak student, and a weak student cannot understand what the strong student did, and that is why they need just to find a comparable so level of knowledge and skills, so to be able to do the peer review properly. And there are different methodologies. And so then there is a research every year, so what needs to be done to improve this in online courses. So communities are important. If it's a mass course, it's a mass course, so then it's important for the students to help each other, because the teacher cannot possibly help everyone. Sometimes they only recommend the teachers not to help the students, because then the students they have to do it by themselves. So they know that there is no recourse, and they start writing comments, and so they have to do it by themselves. So for example, so then the student has put up this data set from the supervisor, famous comedy, and so he did it locally before he uploaded it into the system. Or just so this is some examples. So try to do this and this. So they are giving advice to each other, just helping each other. So then this peer pressure works very well. So good recommendations. Um, and so many students make same mistakes. For example, if I say there's a mistake I made, and then the students has already made this mistake, that they can always just get together and put their heads together and see. And the teacher just won't have to spend 5 hours a day just to answer same questions over and over again. So the students, the peer community helps on that. Then we need to take care of students. Both the teacher needs to take care, platform, his assistants, they need to take care of students. So there are different. Someone didn't understand that 1 + 1 makes 2, and that's happens. And so we need just to take it in stride, and because some students do better than others, so we can do online meetings and answer questions. So once a week. For example, several times during a course to do this Hangout translation, then actually study difficult problems, difficult issues. And personal feedback, to provide this personal feedback, personal feel that the teacher is around, that the teacher cares, and the teacher is with you. And so very important that the students that actually study hard, and so that they're real. And if they are thrown out to the wolves, then certainly the poor students might die out in the cold. So they need to be helped and feel that the teacher is close. So the most important in online course, motivation. And why should he take this course? So this is an example of what we're asking about the courses. So there's some feedback. So then, for example, one of the motivations, a girl decided to learn more what her husband does. You see, and that's why she signed up for the course, etc. And even out of morbid curiosity, sometimes you signed up, and so it won't work. So it won't work certainly. So, but if he wants to develop a web service or a startup or or they want just to advance their knowledge in the online support. So then, if they're motivated in a robust fashion, then certainly they will complete the course successfully. Those who finish the courses are the guys who are online, offline programs connected, and at the same time. So when they work together, it's one supplements the other, complements the other. So then, and they're well motivated. So then the target audience is very important. So the more targeted the person is, the more concentrated, focused the person is, because if there is a strong and a weak student, so the weak sometimes can do it, and they get sifted away, but the strong student will stay, and that's how if it's not, so they will sometimes in course of the course, so they get dropped off. And offline is very important. Offline, so when you're physically present, so when the students of online courses come and listen to supplementary subjects, so and then the audience, I mean the conference room is always replete with students, so that's why offline is very important. So and they don't have to read lectures, but talk to students in class. And in the classroom, it's about difficult subjects, assignments, and so that's why this physical presence is important. And so some things are read only physically, offline, and some are read only online, and so then additional projects may be developed offline. Sometimes it's even nicer for a teacher because sometimes so it's not interesting for a teacher just to read the same lecture 5 years non-stop, and so it's nice to meet physically, to see the students in the flesh, and for so to talk to a big audience, and everyone gets something. And so what's let's sum it up. So can you learn to program online? Can you become a good developer having learned how to program online? Yes, the answer is yes. You can become a good programmer online, but it's not certainly a substitution for offline education. And it's not something completely different as well, because if someone goes to university and works and then sign up for this course, he won't be able to do it. But if a student, for example, just even left his job for half a year just to learn to program, and he's motivated, so he even quit on his job, and he interacts with the automated system, and he's completely immersed in it. He talks to the teacher offline, online. It can be done, and so this so online does not mean that it's completely depersonalized, because the teacher is there, and so then the better the teacher is, the better the outcome is. So then certainly one teacher for 30 students, so then can offline provide certainly more a personal approach, and better certainly than one teacher for 1,000. But if you manage just to keep the same format as if you are talking to 30 students online, when you're talking to 1,000 students, that will work. So questions? Question. Besides online platform, do you have another resource? It's like you need to put together a course, but you need equipment. That's a special equipment, special type, and to have the same sustainable result. So do you provide this kind of service in your platform? Yeah, two questions, answers. So then, online course without video, only with assignments. It's okay, but the other way around is bad. If it's only video without practical assignments, it's bad. But without video with assignments is good. And so you can do it even without any equipment. Good online course. It's more difficult, more challenging. That's why in St. P in Moscow we made those video studios that help those who we interact with. So we videotape the course. So I have videos studio where you can come and videotape, and yeah. Now I was saying. So, for example, I have an API programming course, and I want to do. I cannot provide it because I have equipment constraints. Yeah, we do have this plugin systems of assignments. We have standard assignments of problems for development, Linux programming, API related. So you can see Docker's image. You can get a virtual machine that then will return to Docker. And every student, when he tries to solve this assignment, so he will get a personal Docker and routing access, and then he can check the quality. So this is done for database courses, for Hadoop courses being prepared now, and so there's this infrastructure. And so all we need to do is so then the original image needs to be written, and then the check script, so the file is ports available. Yeah, that's right. Question. For example, I have a course. I want to put it online, and what must efforts? What does it cost to make an online course? It's all personalized, very personalized. And what I mean, if you are reading this course at the university, for example, and you want just to put it online, it's quite straightforward. Meaning what? What does it take? For example, so your time, labor, 10 times as much as to do it for the students. So, for example, my course is 34 hours, right, and then plus 64 lab hours. So 340 hours, right? 340 hours, so 10 times as much. Okay. So then I'll have to come to your studio. So you need to be videotaped, mm, and then depending on your style of videotaping, so how you talk, and the much so how much you spend at the studio, and then 10, 20, 30% depending on the experience. Because videotaping on the studio, it's not talking to the audience. It's because talking to because in the video it's like a movie, and talking to the audience physically, it's like a theater. So because it's like a movie, so you cannot just perform there. You have to do your business and deliver the lecture, and uh, and uh, and then online on Stapic we can make all the assignments, and we have the interface for all assignments, for all the problems, for all the teachers, and we improve it all the time so that it can be done easy. And if we have you have assignments and they're automated, that's quite straightforward. And what about money? How much might it cost? Uh, so we help for free to everyone who wants to, who needs our help. If you do it not with someone else and not with us, then it depends on the video time, so rental, so the audience, so the office rent, etc. Yeah. And tell me why we should do it with you and not with Corsair and EDX. So just convince me that I should do it with you. From the viewpoint of support, we are much better than support. Stapic can integrate, according to LTI protocols, to other educational platforms. And now in Coursera, 5, 6 courses, they use Stapic to check the problems, assignments. And so they're learning how to video. And on LTI protocol, so they authorized there, so they and then Coursera does not have such features. So supporting complicated automated checking test systems, they don't have it yet. Okay, thank you very much, Nikolay, for your presentation.